What's going on, everybody? It's Ted again here with the Countdown to the Geeks, and I got another special interview for you guys. Joining me from the upcoming film Boneyard is Nora Zehetner. Hello, Nora. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. This is such a refreshing and unique suspenseful thriller, Boneyard. Tell us a little bit about your character, Detective Young.
She is, I think, she cares very much about her job. She works very hard. She's a woman in a very dominated field. And uh, yeah, and I think that she is always the adult in the room.
I love that this movie had so many different layers to it because, yes, it is about this specific department or this unit within a police force trying to find out more about these murder cases that someone just so happened to stumble upon, but they start sort of looking in many different places, and that puts a lot of friction within the police department. Tell us about it, how it was working with Brian Van Holt, who plays your partner, Detective Ortega, and sort of building that tension within the unit there.
Um, yeah, I mean, Brian's great. We just met on this project and we got on immediately, and I think that's important because in the movie, we've been partners for a while, and we've typically had a good relationship. So as the movie progresses, that's an interesting background for it. I don't want to give anything away. So but but yeah, he was a pleasure to work with, and great to have conversations with about the scenes and everything.
Were you surprised to find out that this film was inspired by actual real events out in New Mexico?
No, I was a little bit aware of them prior to reading the script. And yeah, I was really happy to, Vince, the writer, actually knew some of the women, and he spent a really long time, yeah, developing this. And I know it was really important for him and Asif to sort of shed light on these true crimes and the women that go missing every year and all of these unsolved crimes. So yeah, I felt like I was in good hands to do that, and I was happy to be part of telling that story.
Everyone on this cast is fantastic in these roles, but you also got to share this film with a legend, both in front and behind the camera, Mel Gibson. Were you ever starstruck? Were you just in awe sometimes watching him work? It feels like a very classic Mel Gibson character that he fell into for this project. What was your experience like just being on the set with him?
Yeah, well, it was funny because we actually did do another film together, but not at the same time. So I was kind of like, "Hi, we were in a movie together," uh, and yeah, I mean, it's very strange to watch, to sit across the table from somebody and share a scene with them and watch them act when you've, grew up on Lethal Weapon and Braveheart, and it's very strange to take somebody like that out of your head and the screen and put them in front of you. So it was it was special for sure.
Is there anything that might have collaboration or anything else that might have been discussed while filming some of the scenes with him that you sort of took away and you're going to sort of carry on with you in later in your career? Anything you absorbed from working with Mel in those scenes?
No, it's just interesting to watch, his process in person, and yeah. It's always interesting to see how people work, and there's always like little bits to kind of steal from everybody.
I'm always interested to hear about how someone prepares for a role. So this is a very sort of straightforward sort of police role that you are in. Did you go and try and gain inspiration from anywhere specific? Did you do research by following any police department officers in real life, or how did you prepare for this role?
I was able to speak to a female detective not on the case, but just about what her experience was like. And that was very helpful and very informative. And but I actually like kind of, it was one of those things. I had a meeting and then, you know, got the call like pretty much like right before I had to go to Vegas. So I unfortunately didn't have a chance to like shadow anybody or do any of that, which I would have liked to have done because this was definitely a new type of role for me. So
Well, you're fantastic in it. And what is it like having a police chief, or having the legendary 50 Cent as your police chief? That must have been quite special.
it was very special. I never would have dreamt it, and but I'm so glad it happened. I mean, it's much more fantastic than anything that you could dream. But he's so lovely. I really enjoyed working with Curtis and so professional. Didn't have that was something. He didn't have his phone on set either, which I think that's a really good tip for actors to be there
Wow.
and be. I think it's really nice actually just when people don't have their phones because you're so present. And I really like that.
I heard some similar stories from Asif when I spoke to him about
Huh.
Curtis, saying that he had this press conference in which I think he was allowed to sort of read from notes, but instead he decided to memorize the sort of police department release when he was in front of all the press cameras. So it sounds like he really, gave it his all, and like you mentioned, he
Oh
was really
yeah, he
professional
was
and.
oh so professional, so committed. I mean, he has I think like 17 shows that he executive produces on the air. So I mean, this is like a very very good businessman and professional human being. And I don't think you have that level of success if you're not doing a lot of things right.
Boneyard is going to be out July 2nd on video on demand. It will also be in select theaters on July 5th. Nora, I would like to ask you, pitch this movie to the audience. Why should they go check out Boneyard?
Well, I think that it's shining a spotlight on these really terrible true crimes. And at the same time, it's been wrapped into a exciting thriller. So kind of you get it all.
I think so as well. Nora, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Good luck on the rest of your interviews, and I cannot wait for audiences to check out this movie.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.